Administration's rewrite of Title IX makes gender identity a protected class. Critics of Biden's overhaul say this opens a new can of worms and even endangers young female students. But a few women's rights groups are not taking the changes lying down. One of them is Moms for Liberty, who's suing the Biden administration. The group's co-founder, Tiffany Justice, is joining me live now. Tiffany, as always, good to see you. So bring us up to speed. What is the latest on your Title IX lawsuit?
So we're the 8th lawsuit to be filed, but this is a special lawsuit because we've got 4 brave moms, Stella, who are taking a stand. They are named in this lawsuit. They are standing in defense of their parental rights and defense of their children's speech for the First Amendment. And who would have thought, right? A little 3 years after we've started, that we would have the opportunity to join in a lawsuit like this with Young Americans for Freedom, represented by Southeastern Legal Foundation. And so this is a lawsuit against the Biden administration. We're hoping for a nationwide preliminary injunction here so that we can stop this new radical Title IX rule from going into effect.
What are the parents saying in this lawsuit?
Yeah, so the parents are very concerned about compelled speech. Their children have gone to school or go to school with students who consider themselves to be transgender. One of the moms said her daughter has compulsory swim classes at her high school, and so will be forced to use the locker room. And there are children who identify as transgender at that school. Her daughter will no longer be able to express the fact that she doesn't feel safe. If she expressed the fact that she didn't feel safe or comfortable in her own locker room, a female locker room, she could be there could be a complaint filed against her for sexual harassment under this new Title IX rule. So parents are very concerned about the fact that their kids are going to have to go into school, are going to have to lie, or are going to have to chill their speech in some way from recognizing biological truth.
Can you give us a little bit more information about not being able to speak up? What does this have to do with the new Title IX? Just in case some people don't know. We've talked about this before, but don't know the information. You know, what are the changes to Title IX?
Yeah, absolutely. So Title IX this new rule came out on April 19th. It goes into effect on August 1st. School districts are supposed to be readying themselves for any of these changes. That means boys on your girls' sports teams, boys in the locker rooms and the bathrooms. This means conversations between your child, perhaps, and a teacher, private conversations about your child wanting to change their gender identity. And the school now has a mandate from the federal government to keep that from you. And if the school knows that you won't affirm that your child's wish of changing their gender, that means that they can consider you to be the threat now. So this is just the obliteration of parental rights. There are all kinds of due process issues and concerns when we talk about colleges and students having the right to be able to have due process when they're accused of some type of a crime. And so this new Title IX rule really changes the fabric of our country. When you see a Supreme Court justice who can't answer what a woman is because she says she's not a biologist, this is the confusion that's now being sown in the minds of our kindergartners.
Very disturbing that girls cannot have privacy.
Shocking.
I mean, where do we go from here?
And if that girl speaks out, Stella, so, you have a boy using your locker room and this girl says, I don't feel comfortable, I don't feel safe. It's now her problem. Now she'll be the one who gets charged with the complaint filed against her rather than all of the girls having to change. I mean, my goodness, where are we right now in America? It is really a shocking moment. And as we've discussed before, we're seeing the world wake up to the harms of gender ideology. So again, the fact that the Biden administration is shoving it down the throats of everyday Americans and pushing this into schools is really just mind-blowing.
Yeah, explain how that works. So if a girl speaks out, it is her problem now.
Yes. So if a girl spoke out, so if you had a boy come into the locker room and your daughter says, I don't feel safe or I'm not comfortable, or doesn't refer to that student with the proper pronouns, perhaps, or the proper name that student wants to go by. And remember now, that can change from day to day. Then it's your daughter. Your daughter is the one who has the problem. Your daughter is the one that has to change how she feels about having a boy in her locker room. She's not allowed to say that she doesn't feel safe anymore.
I mean, what needs to, I just feel that something bad is going to happen in order for some kind of action to be taken, really.
The truth of the matter is that it's like a rising tide. We're
Right.
seeing this happen. Bad things have happened, Stella. Like in Virginia, you remember Scott Smith's daughter was
Yes.
raped in a bathroom. This will create unsafe situations. But what we're really hoping for, because Young Americans for Freedom and Moms for Liberty has a nationwide reach, is that our case we will get a nationwide preliminary injunction so we can stop this rule before it goes into effect and these students are harmed.
You bring up Virginia. When that incident happened and the father went and he spoke out, the mainstream media made it seem like he's this radical person.
That's right. That's right, it's the normal reaction of any
Yeah.
father whose daughter is sexually assaulted in a public school, and then they're not told about it and it's covered up. I mean, parents, this is a huge betrayal of trust on the behalf on the by the federal government, and American parents are going to take a stand. And we're just so incredibly thankful for these four moms that are not going to stand in the shadows and be anonymous. They're going to put their names out there, and they're going to be proud to stand for the other 130,000 members of Moms for Liberty and say, enough, Biden administration, you can't do this to our
Yeah,
girls.
good for them, because a lot of parents are afraid to speak out for the sake of, losing everything they have, because it's not a popular thing to say the right thing. What's the next step in the fight for parental rights?
Elections. I mean,
Hmm.
you need to understand that your vote matters. And so I really, if you care about parental rights, the first question you should be asking candidates when they're knocking on your door and they want your vote is, where do you stand on protecting fundamental parental rights? And what you want to hear from them is, you're the parent, your say goes. So we're going to defend your parental rights. So really, the way you vote matters. And we're going to be working to help to get out the vote across the United States of America to make sure that good school board members are elected, and then other offices, people that hold office are putting parental rights at the forefront.
Yeah, keep us posted on the lawsuit. This is a big one.
Yes, thank
Yeah.
you so much, Stella.
Thank you, Tiffany. Good to see you.